can't believe that anybody feels the way we do about our girls and all those chords we're traveling to. And all the roads we drive, all the states we see, we've been volleyball'd all so desperately. I said maybe we're gonna be the ones to cheer them on. We're lost in this volleyball.
It's Christmas Eve, and so what better way to celebrate than with a podcast?
Yeah, we got a lot of Christmas Eve energy going on around here today.
It's going to be a busy one. Welcome. This is Volleyball'd, and I'm Carlos, and that's Allison, and we're the Medinas. And Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. We decided to put out an additional podcast. Actually, we were kind of forced into it, which I'm not complaining one bit about because it was kind of funny. So last night, I posted on X that I was watching Die Hard, and I actually had a picture of the opening scene when John McClane is getting off the airplane, and you have the Die Hard, 2 words, boom, right there in the airport comes up. And this is when he's getting ready to make his trip to Nakatomi Plaza. And this is how I celebrate Christmas. Well, at that point, we heard from a former podcast guest in Erin Flynn and her husband, Mike Flynn. If you may know, he is the sports information director at Georgia Tech. Their daughter is currently a freshman. She was featured in one of the podcasts as far as talking about her in Kellen Flynn. They're all right now, along with Annie, so shout out to you as well. They're all in Orlando for the Pop-Tart Bowl. And apparently they saw the post, and it started a debate over Die Hard and Rocky IV. And before we knew it, it turned into, hey, why don't we have Kellen on the podcast?
You have your list of Christmas movies. I have my list of Christmas movies. And I can tell you that Die Hard is never, ever on mine.
You have already watched, I think, Love Actually 2 times.
Once. I watched it once. I finished it the second time. I didn't. I fell asleep the first time.
And
There's
it's
a difference.
Always. There's nothing about it that I have ever found, because, again, it's a chick flick, but there's nothing about it that I've ever been, sucked into, oh, I've got to see how this ends. Die Hard's different. I know how it ends, but I want to see how we get there. That's the difference.
My husband admitted to me the other day that he took a girl on a date when he was in high school or college. And he took her to see the movie Bring It On. And because she liked the movie, he could no longer continue his relationship with her. And I was chuckling inside because, ladies, we all loved Bring It On when we were that age. And it's ridiculous that you would break up with someone because they didn't.
It wasn't a breakup. It was just a decision that the relationship should not go any further because she wanted to see Bring It On, and then she really liked it, which at that point I was out. Done.
You still won't watch The Notebook with me, which is one of my top 5 all-time favorite best movies ever of all time.
Love Actually. I mean, I can't get you to watch Last of the Mohicans. Guys, you know I'm right.
I've seen Last of the Mohicans.
Yeah, you won't watch it with me. All right, let's get over to what's going to be our guest. We've known years now. My daughters both hold her in very high regard because Kellen was always around the gym. And the fact that my older daughter played for her mother, and the fun fact is, the funny thing, my youngest daughter actually still wants to play for Coach Aaron. So it's kind of funny how this all ends up working out, where we were able to get some time with Kellen. By the way, because we don't have the video that we're posting, she was sitting poolside in Orlando when we got a chance to talk with her. She looks like she's living her best life.
And I'm wearing a sweater.
And I'm cold, and I'm just trying to wear enough clothes to get through this holiday season. All right, let's get to Kellen. Joining us on Volleyball'd, an earlier episode that we had this year featured Erin Flynn, A5 coach, local teacher, and somebody who had been through the recruiting process when it came to her daughter. And her daughter is Kellen Flynn, who found a home at Alaska Fairbanks University, where they had a tremendous year at the Division II level. She's a libero. She's a defensive specialist. And finally, after much debate with your parents over whether or not we were going to ever be able to get you on this podcast, We're joined by Kellen Flynn. Kellen, how are you doing this morning?
I'm good.
Kellen, my first question for you. Can you now feel your fingers and toes again now that you're back?
Yeah, it's been kind of crazy. It's been snowing for almost 3 months now. When it first started happening, I was like, oh, this is nothing. And then it would melt, but then it would get cold enough to where it just turned back into ice and it would snow again. So it all just started piling up. The negatives, oof, when I left, it was like -25, -30, but you don't really feel it once it gets below zero because it all feels the same.
Oh.
So,
Did you even bring your own clothes out there, or did you just have to buy all new thermal, triple layered everything?
So everybody's been asking like what we wear, and really we just wear like what you would normally wear, but try to put our parka on and then maybe some gloves and some hats and hope for the best. um, I did bring a whole bunch of my summer clothes, and I ended up bringing a whole bunch of them back because I've not touched them since I've gotten.
So for the audience to know, your dad is the sports information director at Georgia Tech. And so you're currently in Orlando enjoying what's going to be the Pop-Tart Bowl. And so that's quite a ways away from Alaska. But I will tell you, the amount of pictures that we got in August and September, you look like you were on the greatest adventure of like wilderness and being out there. What huge amount of change was that from a girl who, lived in Atlanta, is growing up around here, has been part of the culture here, to go out there and experience something completely different?
Yeah. So throughout, like when I was getting recruited, coaches would ask what I wanted. And I was like, well, I want to be far away from home, which I accomplished that 110%. And then I said I always wanted to stay near a big city. That did not happen. I'm in one of the smallest places I feel like I've ever been, but it's been so great. We've like in the summer we went out on the river and it was like 70 outside, which then the water was quite cold, but it was still so fun just to like be out there and experience that. And like I've gone snow machining, is what they call it up there, snowmobiling. I've rode a sled behind a snowmobile, which like you can't really do in Atlanta. It doesn't really snow enough for that, which that was like so fun. Um, and then every night I get to see the Northern Lights. Well, pretty much every night, which is really cool. I've really caught on to like, hey, it's clear outside. We should probably go outside. You're gonna be able to see them versus it's cloudy. You're not gonna get to see them at all. So just things here that I can't do here, but up there, there's so many different things. We get to see, I mean, we've seen moose just out in the middle of the road, sitting there. We've seen a whole bunch of different things. And
so cool.
So it's been really cool to experience something different.
Literally describing an episode of Northern Exposure, which Kellen has probably never heard of, actually.
Oh, of course not. There's no way.
Sorry. old,
yeah, 30-year-old TV, nowhere near 30-year-old girl.
Okay. So Kellen, talk to me about you're a libero defensive specialist. We've always heard the recruiting game looks a little different for that position. Did you experience that?
Yeah, 100%. It's a little harder, especially now. Like girls are getting recruited as hitters, but they're good enough passers to where they're going to be put into the passing position, just because they're a little bit taller, and that's starting to trend more towards this position. I'm actually on the taller side for this position, which is great. It kind of works in my favor, but yeah, I would say, I always wanted, D1's the goal, and I had some smaller like talks with Division I schools, but ultimately it came down to also where I wanted to be, but two, school. So I found a culture at Alaska that I felt wanted, not just that I was gonna just be another piece, but somewhere where they did want me to come, versus there was other schools that I was like, well, I just feel like another number. But here at Alaska, I feel, and I still feel this way, that my coaches truly care for each individual like person. So that was a big group, but Division it was always the goal, but I found somewhere at the Division II level that I'm still getting to play, if not the same level, and getting the same experience. And I found a group of girls and a group of coaches that let me really play to what I've known my entire life. So I'll do something and they don't try to stop me from doing what I'm doing. They just kind of let me do it, and they'll make corrections along the way. But really, they let me play to my body, to how big, like how tall I am for my position, how big my hands are. Like it's really a great opportunity.
Kellen Flynn is our guest. She's a libero slash defensive specialist at the University of Alaska Fairbanks. All right, I want to tell you this quick story because I loved watching your season.
Okay.
I had some Division I baseball opportunities. I chose a particular community and to play Division II baseball at a university that was growing.
Mhm.
And by the time that I get into year 2, suddenly we're a top 25 team. We're in the NCAA playoffs. We're in regionals. We're chasing a national championship. To see that same scenario happen with you and to see how awesome it was for y'all to travel and to get the university's first win in the NCAA tournament, how big is that to be on that ground floor of knowing I'm at the place I want to be and we're going the right direction?
Yeah. So I would say it kind of started like beginning of the season, really. We always play a tournament with a couple of Hawaii teams and then the 2 teams from Alaska. And we were in Anchorage this year, actually, and we got to play our first game. We got slotted to play Chaminade, and they've been really good historically for the past couple of years. And we came in and they were ranked in the top 10. And we were like, hey, like, this is a great opportunity. Like, we've trained really hard all preseason for this. Like, why not? Like, just take the opportunity, take what we've got. And we went out there and we beat them in 5 sets. And that was actually our first match of the year. And I got put in. And like, I want to say the 3rd or the 4th set. And I'm not going to lie, I was terrified.
Oh,
I
yeah.
go in and my coach was like, Kellen, you're going to go in. And I was like, me? Like, are we sure? Like, and I stepped out there and I was like, I've honestly, like, A5 has prepared me for that, but everybody's always said, like, college is a different beast. Like, it's totally different. And they were right. Like, I stepped out there and I was like, wow, these girls are big compared to what I'm used to. Like, these are some girls that can really play. And we ended up beating them in 5. And it was just, I think that was kind of an eye opener of like, hey, this is the ground that we can stand on this year. And then the next day or the day after we played them again and we actually beat them in 3. So that was pretty big. I was like, okay, this team that usually makes waves in the top 25 of Division II, we've now taken down twice. And then we just kind of kept progressing throughout our season. And the first time, I'll never forget, the first time we got ranked, like, I think we all knew it was kind of coming. And we were at practice and we kept refreshing our phones during water breaks, trying to see like if anybody had put anything up yet. And I'll never forget, like, we put it up, like, it got put out and we were all in practice and we were like, guys, like, we're ranked 23rd. And our coach was like, we got in. And we're like, yeah. And it was just like, everybody was just so like happy because that's never happened for our program before. And then we kind of got later into our season and we were still tied for first in our conference. And it was kind of wild. We had a 4-way tie for first this year, which has never happened before. So towards the end, we took out some people, and then our conference just got really messy. Everybody was just taking out everyone. So the top like 5 teams were just all beating up on each other. And then we got to the end of the season, and we had 21 or 22 wins, which was close to the most in program history, if not tied for the most, which they set last year. And then we were sitting there watching the game to like determine if we were going to get into the tournament because we knew if a certain team lost, then we were going to get in. And I'll never forget, like, the last point dropped and there were 6 of us in there with our coach. And it was so like a weight lifted off of our shoulders. Like, we were going to the tournament for the first time ever. Like, it was really cool. Like, all these people were supporting us. We packed our gym so many times. And the support from the community up there is just so great. And just going to the tournament and like, our coach even told us before our first game in the tournament, like, no matter what, I want you guys to be happy with how it ends because we've made so much history throughout the season and just so many great strides. Like, we're here and we're playing and we get the opportunity to continue to play. So just be happy with how it ends. And I think we all were when we did lose in the second round in the semifinals of our region. But I don't know that we were all crying because we were necessarily mad that we lost, but just sad that the run was over with the group that we had.
Kellen Flynn is our guest. Let me follow up with that because, looking back on it, what we used to have in the baseball system, we would have 8 regions and 4 qualifiers per region. And so it was a 32-team national tournament. Mm-hmm. So you had to get into the top portion of your region just to get an option. What is it like in the Division II level when it comes to volleyball? How exactly does that work?
So we also have 8 regions, but you have to be in the top 8 of your region to get into like, so we take it by region to start the tournament. So you have to be in the top 8 in your region to be considered for like the first rounds of the tournament. And so it was the 8 teams from the West. We all went down to Point Loma in San Diego, and we played like multiple games throughout the 3 days. So like we did serve and pass for the first day, and someone serve and pass like the first 2 teams that were playing at like 11:30 in the morning. Their serve and pass was at like 6 a.m., which was kind of unfortunate. But we had to get everybody through serve and pass by like 10 o'clock. So yeah, the 8 teams, we all go down to wherever, like whoever's hosting. And we actually had potential to host up into a certain point of the season, which would have been really cool, having teams come up to Alaska and just like having to bear out that like really dark by like 3 o'clock and the really cold.
Talk about a home field advantage.
Yeah, exactly. And just like our community's so strong, it would have been really cool. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. But we got to go down to San Diego, which was just really cool. And get to play some of those like California teams. There was 3 California teams, and then actually 5 teams from my conference alone got into the tournament, which is crazy. Just speaks volumes to how great like out there, especially like the West region of volleyball is really hard, but our conference is really, really good. So then the winners from those 8 like regions, 8 different regions, all go. This year it was South Dakota. They play Elite 8, Final 4, and then the finals out there. So yeah, a little different, but good competition.
So, Kellen, looking back at your entirety of your freshman season, you probably had a certain level of expectation, but when you really got off the plane the first time, you really didn't know what to expect because you've never done this before. You've never been in this climate before. What would you say, looking back, were some of the harder moments for you for the season, and what was easier than you expected?
Yeah. I would say hardest moments this season, I think preseason was just a battle in itself because we were still trying to figure everything out with our lineup. And I had taken the chance to, usually we redshirt our freshmen and give them an extra year to play, but my coaches gave me the option to not do that and felt that I was ready to play when my name was called upon. So I took that chance. And I think just trying to figure everything out and get my feet underneath me with the team and everything. Just I was the youngest or one of the youngest on every travel trips, and just trying to figure out, okay, like this is my new normal. Like I'm with all the older girls, and I do like really proving to myself that I was good enough to be there, because they wouldn't put me out there if I wasn't good enough. Like I know that, and they believe in me. So I think just finding that in myself and just trusting that they do believe in me as they do. I also got hurt during preseason, and I was out for a few games, and I think that was just a really big mental battle, just trying to get past that mentally and just moving on from it. And throughout the whole season, next ball mentality is really hard. I feel like in club we tend to dwell on what has already happened versus just moving forward, and that's what was a big goal for our team this season, was just moving on and moving on to the next point. So I think I really had to switch out of that mentality pretty fast from club. I think one of the easier things was honestly moving up there. I have a great group up there and a great support staff from my coaches, and great group of girls that I get to live with and play with. And I really enjoy being up there. And I really thought that it was going to be something scary and I was going to have a really hard time. And honestly, I've had a really easy time moving up there. Felt like the last like 5 months like flew by. So I think that's really important, having that group of girls. And another easy thing it came with it, it was just like traveling. Like it was just a new normal. It was, okay, we're leaving at this time. Everybody be down there. Make sure you have everything. Like I packed the other day to come to Orlando. I was like, you're already done packing? I was like, yeah, I would wait to the last minute to pack, and I'd pack everything right then. So I think it's really fun. It's a great experience, and I've really enjoyed this first semester. So
Kellen Flynn is our guest. She's a libero / defensive specialist at the University of Alaska Fairbanks. For our audience, especially those that are club parents and club volleyball players, what has the balance been like between athletics, because it's very demanding, and then also with your studies? Because that was one of the big factors that your parents were very open about. Even when I got a chance to talk with them, that you are a very serious student. How has that balance been for you from what you were doing in high school to what you're doing now?
yeah, I think it's a lot, not easier, but we have a little bit more support. We're required to do 6 hours of study hall a week. So I'm required to go on Mondays and sit in the office, the lounge for 2 hours and get those done. And then throughout the week, just finding other times to do that. When we're on away trips, they provide us with a lot of opportunities to get things done. But I think the hardest thing I had the problem with was like the first time I went on a travel trip, I was like, oh, I'm here and I don't really want to do anything else. Like, I really just want to be here and play volleyball. And I think that's something that some girls struggle with at this level is I'm here to play volleyball. But I also came somewhere where I really wanted to put being an engineer. I knew that's what I wanted to do. So I looked for somewhere that had a program for that. So I think just finding that balance of, okay, I played today, but now I need to go back to the hotel and I need to get X, Y, and Z done. Or I know I'm leaving on Wednesday this week. How much of my work can I get done from Sunday to Wednesday to try to get ahead or possibly not have to do anything while we're on the road? So I think that was just a big part. Or like when we were at home that I knew like, okay, my game days are pretty stacked. Like I have to be down here at this time to, do rehab or be in the locker room or watch film. And then I need to do this like serve and pass at this time. And we have our activation lift before that. So trying to find time like, okay, when do I do all my schoolwork? Or like if I had an in-person class, okay, I have to go to this, but I'm going to miss this class. So how do I talk to everybody else about getting caught up to this? So really like the big thing was just like asking for help. I struggle with that. So just asking people like, hey, I'm behind in this, or telling my coaches, hey, like I'm struggling in this. I need you guys to help me. And they were always there to help. But I think that's just a big key piece to all of it.
Well, and people listening might not know this, but you also played two sports most of your life. So it's probably like a breeze now, just focusing on one.
Yeah, there's no more softball, volleyball season. It's just volleyball.
No, just like a typical day feels a little long, but I'm obviously not running from like one sport to the other. So that's kind of nice.
I know. I've seen you in softball pants, like literally coming straight from practice to go to another practice or vice versa.
Yeah, with the eye black on, which is highly intimidating when you come in the gym. She's got eye black on it and good to go. Kellen Flynn is our guest. What would you have to say to a lot of the younger players, whether it's A5 or any of the local clubs or any of the clubs here that's on our listening audience, that process that you went through, if you had a suggestion to those girls, as far as, what it's going to be like at the college level versus what it was, even, you won a national championship. You've played at a very high level when it comes to club volleyball, but what has been that big difference that you would suggest to other players?
Yeah, I would say one, at the beginning of all of it, like take an opportunity to talk to everybody that reaches out. Because my parents always told me, like, don't turn down an opportunity, like take every opportunity. And honestly, that's how I ended up at Alaska. I was very like, I'll talk, but I don't know if that's really what I want. And I ended up falling in love with somewhere that I like honestly didn't even think about. I would also say just embracing every moment in club volleyball. It's so different from the next level. Like you get to see all these people every weekend from different places. Like I have friends at different clubs that I'm like, wow, I used to see them every single weekend at these tournaments, and now I haven't seen them in months. Like it's truly a special experience, but also like the next level, you make so many different friendships and relationships. Like I know there's people on my team that I will still talk to for the rest of my life. Like, and there's girls that graduated this year that I still talk to today. Like I have made relationships where like there's girls from Hawaii that I'm really, really close with. And honestly, two of those girls, like those two will probably be by my side for the rest of my life. But I have made that relationship so important to me. Like I'm so excited to start our season there next year and get to see where they've lived for forever. Like that's so cool. Just the different relationships. And honestly, like getting to play at the next level is such a privilege and an experience that I don't think some people realize. Like it's not something that everybody gets to do. And I think just taking in every moment, whether we were in Anchorage, Alaska, or Billings, Montana, like everywhere in between, or like Idaho, like places I never thought I was going to get to visit, just stepping off the plane every single time that we travel, and just being so thankful that I got to go on that trip, because that's truly an experience that I probably wouldn't have had somewhere else. So
Kellen, what do you want for Christmas this year?
And that national championship ring would have been great. But honestly, just I'm so glad I get to be home for a little bit and get to be with my family. It's been quite the adjustment living by myself. And, a lot of people are like, yeah, we're all living by ourselves. But 4,000 miles away is a little bit different. In a place that honestly, like, nobody's really experienced. Like, my parents can't tell me, like, oh, there's this there to do or this. Like, I'm really figuring it out for myself. I honestly, like, if I could do anything for Christmas besides be with my families, be back with my teammates and my coaches. Like, I texted them the other day. I was like, guys, I'm having withdrawals. Like, I miss you guys so much. And I think that just comes from being with each other every day. Like, I really don't know what I would have done this semester without all of them. So
I will tell you, Kellen, I have a group chat that me and guys that haven't played baseball together in 20 years are always on.
yeah,
it's the first place to tell everybody when you got a hole in one in golf, when
Yeah.
your wife is pregnant, what you have going on in your life. And so you're 100% right. These are people that you're going to know for the next 30, 40 years of your life that you're going to be cool with. A final question for me, and this is what got this podcast idea going last night. I received a text message from your dad in reference to Die Hard, the movie.
Oh gosh.
And apparently your mother and your father were going back and forth. I had posted on X about it. So help us settle this. Die Hard, Christmas movie or not a Christmas movie?
No, not a Christmas movie.
Oh, you're wrong. Okay.
I'm with you, Kellen. I'm with you.
No. Just like my dad last night, he was like, Rocky 4 is a Christmas movie. No, just because it takes place during Christmas does not mean it's a Christmas movie.
Oh, well, that's great.
Agree to disagree.
Agree. Yeah, fine. Agree. Listen, I'll give you Rocky 4. Yes, it occurs around Christmas, but it's a Christmas party. That's the whole idea of Die Hard.
No.
If there was no Christmas party, there would be no crime. Nakatomi Plaza would have fallen to the terrorists. Kellen, I can't thank you enough. Really appreciate you getting up and doing this with us. Best of luck on your upcoming season. Is there anything else you want to go ahead and let our audience know? Because once I post this, you're the first player we've ever gotten a chance to interview. We've interviewed directors and coaches and people that run, Big South and everybody else. You're the first player that's ever been on the Volleyball'd podcast.
Yeah, don't forget about that state up there, making some pretty big waves in the volleyball world. So it's exciting to see, and I think we're going to continue to build. So yeah, stay up late if you can, like midnight, but it's worth it, promise.
Congrats on all your successes, Kellen, and enjoy that sunshine for a few more days.
Yes, thank you guys.
There you have it. That's Kellen Flynn. After a freshman season in which the University of Alaska Fairbanks had never advanced in the Division II portion of the NCAA tournament, they won their opening round game that got them into that semifinal. And just from my experience with that, we got to a regional final when I was playing baseball years and years ago. And that's as far as the university had ever been. And so there's something that's really cool when you're part of a team that accomplishes that, especially when you're a freshman, especially when that program's growing and going in the right direction. She and her family have a lot to be proud of.
Yeah, what a cool kid. I mean, that's all you can dream as a parent, right? That they are extremely happy to be home spending time with you, but also can't wait to go back. That's the scenario that we're all looking for.
And also an engineering student. We didn't get a chance to jump into a lot of that. But Kellen had made the decision very early on that she was only going to look at universities that had a pretty significant engineering program. And so for a girl who was all state, she won every accolade that you can possibly win at the high school and club level. And yet she found herself having to tell a lot of universities, no, sorry, I'm not interested, in part because academics was such a big deal to her.
I love what she said about her current coaches teaching her how to play to her own body. I think that's such a big piece of the puzzle that can be missing at the club level sometimes because you're always being compared to 100 other girls in the same age group. But your body is the only thing you have to work with. And so teaching you how to make the most of your arm length and your vertical and your speed and get the most out of the body that you've been given. Oh my God, I just loved hearing that because it's something that's not always taught at a younger age.
And she didn't bring it up, but when she talks about size being a factor, so she's a 5'8" libero, and she was in that position of being a hitter early on and moving into the libero position in part, and her mom has joked around about this, she doesn't have any hops. It's like she joked around about she can't jump over a credit card, but she's such a really good athlete. And so when you hear about, hey, I'm a bigger libero or I'm having to figure this out, the other girls, when I've looked at their roster, they're closer to the normal looking libero, 5'4", 5'5", 5'6", somewhere in that range. So she is a bigger version. And so, yeah, she has to play the game differently given her size.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Everyone can play the game differently and still accomplish the same goals. And that's the beauty of volleyball.
All right. So it's going to be Christmas Day tomorrow morning. Here's your moment to take us out. By the way, we will be back next week. We've got it set up. We're going to be talking to a professional volleyball coach with Love Atlanta, and we're going to go ahead and get the rundown of what's going on in the professional ranks and what it takes to be a professional level player. But until then, take us out.
This is your day, everyone. Lots of hugs, lots of wrapping, lots of cooking, lots of last-minute Christmas shopping.
I'm singing.
And singing. Take your time backing out of the parking spaces today because everyone's going to be a little crazy. And I hope everyone has a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. See you next year.
Today is gonna be the day that we run out of cash. Watching every serve and kill, it's a total smash. By now you should have somehow realized what we've lost. Our free time's gone, it's all for volleyball at any cost. I tend to believe that anybody feels the way we do about our girls and all those courts we're traveling to. And all the roads we drive, all the states we see. We've been volleyball'd so desperately. I said maybe we're gonna be the ones to cheer them on. We're lost in this volleyball. Backbeat, the word is on the street that we're broke again. Entrance fees for tournaments our girls already in. I'm sure you've heard it all before, but we're at the bar, drinking through the overwhelm. No life beyond this far. Don't believe that anybody feels the way we do about the nets and all the chaos we're stuck into. And all the roads we drive, all the states you see. We've been volleyballed so desperately. I said maybe we're gonna be the ones to cheer them on. We're lost in this volleyball. And all the lights that lead us there are blinding. The hotel nights, the drinks, they keep us finding a way to cope with all this endless grind. Oh, we're trapped, no life outside. And all the roads we drive, all the states we see. We've been volleyballed so desperately. I said maybe we're gonna be the ones to cheer them on. We're lost in this volleyball. Today was gonna be the day, but we're still here. Volleyball, oh volleyball. I don't believe that